Good day, everyone. It's glad to be online again today. I hope you're all hearing me. Um, just wait a little bit to let the people join. See if I'm actually getting heard there. Um, so I have good news. I was just recently allowed into or let into the HackTheBox Ambassador program. I apologize. I'm kind of searching for my words here. Probably too excited. Um, so that's a great thing, and because of that, I will be giving away my this month. I would have normally paid for Hack the Box this month, and since my ambassador program sponsors me for Hack the Box VIP Plus now, I won't be I don't need to purchase it, so I'll be giving away my my current month of Hack the Box. Essentially, I'll be at the end of the stream. I'll be giving up a 1 month of VIP on Hack the Box. So um, that's that. I was So for those people who don't know me, my name is Tony Roy. I also go by the name of Psycho, short for Psycho Slave. I am EGPT certified and Barracuda certified. I held a couple of Barracuda certifications now. Used to be a Nortel certified telecom specialist, but I'm one of the last guys that got the certification, so dying breed. Currently work on more Barracuda certification, the ActaBox certified bug bounty hunter, and a few Microsoft Azure certifications still that I still have lingering on my to-do list. Um, we are looking for presenter, organizer, moderator, designer. So if you got the skills, we got the work for you. Um, if you think you could do a stream as well, you don't feel like being like a steady presenter, or you just want to try it out, by all means reach out. I'll The way it works is I'll have you prepare your presentation, then I'll have you present just in front of me, uh, and then once we both are satisfied, I mean, I'm not uh I'm not very strict on my guidelines there, but once we're both satisfied that you're good to go and you want to present, we just set up a date and you'll be presenting on that date. Um, so I mean, it's good if you want to get in touch with the community, or sometimes this cybersecurity community has been given so much that for me, it just felt like it was good to, or it was right to just give back to the community. So that's why I'm doing these streams here. Um, again, having graphic designers would help us tremendously because I can do graphic. I just don't have a whole lot of time to dedicate to it. So um, if if you do have the skills, we're looking to have people on board. So um, and essentially just to prepare like a picture, just a picture of the go of the YouTube channel, like they call it the when the video is still basically just to present the video. So we just need the one picture and maybe the once in a while pictures for the group there. But it's not a whole lot of work, but it would be much needed. All right, enough rambling. Let's get this stream started. We're going to be hacking the Notebook today, which is a medium Linux box. It was created or released back on March 6th last year. Um, Notebook. The initial attack vector is a JSON web token, a GWT vulnerability that handles key signing insecurely. Because of that, it allows us to use our own key pair to sign the token and get admin access on the web interface. Um, Once we get admin to the web interface, there's a couple of notes there that kind of points us to the right direction. Uh, and eventually we get user access and the most fun of this box, well, I mean, I love the GWT part of it, but another fun part of it is that it uses a very non very common way of breaking out of a container. Usually you would try to break out of a Docker container. This time you're actually starting a container to break out of it. So that's not something that's common, but it's something to keep in mind when you're looking for it. The skills you'd be looking to have for this particular box would be the ability to work with base64, because at the end of the day, GWT is base64 only. Be able to generate your own key pair. You don't need to know the whole certificate deal like how a CA works, a certificate authority works. Um, but as long as you're able to generate yourself a key pair, that'd be cool. The understanding of JSON web token, so basically how it works, how what's the format of it, and how you can manipulate it, or depending on the implementation. Um, Minimal PHP knowledge. I mean, as long as you can spawn a reverse PHP reverse shell, I think you're good here. So not a whole lot of PHP is required. We're not going to ask you to write a full stack application. Um, a little bit of Linux enumeration, being familiar with Linux Fine and the Linux directory structure is a must, I think. Um, and Know a little bit about Docker. I mean, the Docker abstraction layer can be a little bit hard to swallow, but I think it's a good to know the basics, and it's getting more and more common and popular. So it's a good tool to have under your belt. The tools that you'd be looking to have or looking to use, obviously there's the Nmap. You can't really go without it. And this site is not sponsored, but gwt.io, very good site for working. Probably one of the best tools out there to working for GWT token. Um, there's only one little bit caveat there. It doesn't handle or doesn't like no encryption on the or no signature. So that's something to keep in mind. You'll need OpenSSL. I'll use it to create myself a key pair. So as long as you can follow along, that should be good. Know how to use a web proxy, Zap or Burp. I mean, whenever it comes to web apps, you have to deal with those. And Google. I mean, it's not something that we get to tell very often, but in this case, you need to flex a little your Google skills, just so to be able to write the fine payload. All right, so let's let me share my screen. So perfect. So I'll probably repeat myself. I've been saying it a couple of times. I'll say it again. Um, Nmap is probably your best friend over here. So it's just using a couple of scripts here. I'm just gonna remove those. I don't need those. So I mean, usually I use different commands, but I'm gonna use this command right here. The minimum rate of 5,000 is to be used with caution because you can DDoS a website, um, and depending on which platform you're working, it might be against the rules or term of service. Now let's run this. I don't really need to run it because I already have saved it here, my Nmap backup. Um, I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to run, but I think these streams can be a little bit more entertaining, just us waiting for Nmap to complete. So essentially, we got this. I'm not 100% sure what goes on with the port 10,010 there. Um, it sure is filtered, so maybe later on we'll be able to escalate our way or use it somehow. But right now it seems to be filtered. And other than that, we do have SSH and HTTP. So let's, I mean, we would not normally go against OpenSSH because, sorry, that's usually hardened quite a bit. And we just go straight to the usually we just go straight to the web, unless you find something that might pull your attention. So we're just gonna start our burp proxy here, um, and while that's starting, I'll also get my Mozilla Firefox going. It's using Foxy Proxy. It's set up to use the burp proxy over here, which is gonna start the temporary project here. And once that starts, we'll browse to the website, see what we're dealing with. Should take a second. All right, perfect. So once we load the web page, we can see that we are greeted with some kind of notebook application of some sort. Um, we can it allows us to register. So let's register. I'll just go with Psycho and very hard password of ABC123 um, in my email over there. I'll sign up and we're greeted over here. So we have two links and the logout button. So there's not a whole lot on this page. We'll try to add notes. See how that goes. So perhaps we can do some XML injection. So we'll try to inject just some payload into the DOM, um, just to see if we can. Oh, I kind of wanted to test this field as well. And we can see that it does not execute the HTML. So um, we can also try to add another one, perhaps try to see if we can do SSTI like 4 times 4. See if that works. And that doesn't seem to execute, so we know that site is probably not exploitable to SSTI or sort of um, XML injection or XXC or something like that, right? So perhaps we can look at something else. What's been going on in the browser essentially. So if we take a look at the burp proxy, we go under the proxy tab and then under the HTTP proxy sub tab. So we see all the pages we browsed over here, but if we look at the register page when we registered with our super strong password ABC123, I don't recommend you ever use a password like this. But we can see over here, it sets an interesting cookie for hot. Now, I've been dealing with GWT token for quite a bit, so I know right off the bat that's what we're dealing with. So if we go into Mozilla essentially, and we just open gwt.io, it's gonna give me this error because I haven't installed the burp certificate. Not a whole lot of problem. So, and we paste this over here, and right off the bat, something jumps right at my face here. This, like, it uses, it basically tells, like, the token, like, the cookie basically tells the server where to pull its key from. I mean, I'm not 100% sure if you, like, let me explain a little bit just before I go deeper into that thought. Let me explain how GWT token works. So this red section here before the dot. So there's three base 64 section. They're glued together with dots basically. And this first section here is the header. So basically that's a base 64 of this section of this over here, and this purple string is the payload section. And all this blue stuff is basically the signature, which we'll get to in a second. But what we see, what's weird here is that it loads the private key. Basically, like, perhaps we can do something over here. So let's try to like do this. We'll go in our shell and we'll just load a listener. Right? Now we'll go in the, not over here, but on Firefox, and let's update this to 1234. That's the port we're listening on, and let's put my VPN address in here, 10.10.14.5. Now you see it didn't really do anything here because the signature is invalid. So, but because it pulls this key over here, we can still. So let's do this here. I erased this this section. I shouldn't have done that. But we can still do this again. So if we take that section, or basically we go here, we can echo this and pipe it into base 64 decode. It would work better if I typed echo correctly, and we can see that it gives us this exact thing here. So, but what we can do is that we can change the echo and pipe this differently. So we'll do echo and we'll paste the I'll just escape all those slash because otherwise it won't go through. All those quotes, I mean. Just gonna quote escape everything. Perfect. And over here we'll change this for 10.10.14.5 port 1234, and that, and we'll pipe this here to base 64 encode. Not sure why it breaks it on two line like this, but so if we take this string and what we'll do, I'll just glue it back together. In GWT token, we don't use the padding, so I'm just gonna drop the equal sign and then base 64 decode. So basically, and that error is just because it's missing some padding, so it's not a whole lot of big deal. But we see we got the right IP address here. It's listening to the right thing, and we just need to go into burp, or not into burp, but into here. We'll change this part. We'll take this, and we'll go into burp. Basically, you see over here what it does is it reuses that cookie that it gets from the register or the login page, and it uses it in whenever it queries the server again, right? So what we'll do is we'll send it to the repeater, and into the repeater we'll change that GWT token. And if we send this query, basically what happens is that we should get a hit on our listener, and we did. So basically that proves that we're able to set our own key pair. So perfect. With that in mind, let's do the same thing again, but this time let's set up a key pair properly. We'll go open SSL, and I already used this before, so I'm just gonna reuse the same. Alright, it kind of needs the other one, so I'll just do something here. I don't want to type it all, so I'll just grab it from my buffer. All right, I might have to, so we'll just SSH keygen. All right, there it is. So SSH keygen, that creates the um, the private key. We don't need to use any passphrase, because if we do use a passphrase, it will break the whole GWT. GWT doesn't use a passphrase. So once we get that, we can type this command over here. That basically takes the private key and creates a public key with it. And now, because the name of the key is named privkey.key, we'll just keep that. So we'll do a copy of our GWT RS-256 private key, and we'll copy it to private key. And now we'll need some web server to be able to serve that file over here. So we'll just use Python with the http.server module, and we'll open it on port 1234. So once we do that, and now we should be able to basically we'll take our keys, because they will be required to sign our token. So that's the private key. We just go over here. You see private key, paste it in here. Make sure you don't have any space in front or after. Um, no space, no enter. So it needs to be on the same line. That's perfect. Now we'll cat um, the the public key a little bit smaller. This one, and once we go in here, paste it, remove the enter, and at the bottom, ta-da! Signature verified. So that's a very good indicator that we're pretty much able to do whatever we want right now. So the next step that we're going to do just before going to our payload, I mean, we can confirm that basically this works. Um, if we just go over here and we select all that cookie, paste that in here, and we do get, see, we're logged in as welcome back Psycho. So essentially, we're able to log in with this cookie, but it gets the key from our server over here. So, not sure if you're following me. So, we did we created ourselves our key pair, the GWTRS256 key pair over here. It's an RSA 256-bit key pair, and we went and in our GWT token we pasted the private key in the bottom, the public key up top, and we're now able to sign, and it makes an absolutely valid signature. All right. So now we're going to change the username to admin because most of the admins are called that these days. And admin capability, yeah, we probably want that. So now we're just going to take our cookie one more time, but this time instead of going and updating doing it in burp because we might have to do something else. We'll go straight into more tools in Firefox and the web developer tools. Over there we head to storage, the storage tab. We see our hot cookie, delete whatever is in there, enter our new cookie. We can now close that developer tool. Once we refresh, we see the new admin panel link that just popped up. If we click on it, shows us two options. We can now view all the notes or upload files. So that's pretty cool. Let's see what's all the notes, because I like snooping around. Oh, is my data safe? Well, I bet you it's not. I wonder if the admin's good enough to trust my data with. Poor Noah. No, I wouldn't trust him. And now if we go look at the other notes, um, just a quote from the notebook. So that's a quote from the movie. All right. Let's see what else in there. Backups are scheduled. Finally, regular backups are necessary. Thank God it's all easy on server. Well, that might be something to keep in mind on for later because we know that backups are happening. Let's look at the last note. And I think that one is the juiciest. So it says we have to fix an issue where PHP files are being executed. This can be a potential security issue for the server. You think? Let's try this. So when they say that they have a potential security issue, I'm assuming that they're talking about this upload function right here. Well, let's give it a try. So we'll load up our terminal, and we need to keep this server alive because every time we'll browse a page, it'll want to download the key. If it can't get to the key, then the authentication, it breaks the authentication. It's no longer valid. So we need to keep that web server up and running over here. Now, what we'll do is we'll create a psycho.php file. Um, that's where I said you might need a little bit of PHP knowledge. I mean, you don't need to be a whole lot of guru in PHP. Essentially, we're just going to create an echo. The reason we're doing this is that, well, echoes are hardly ever blocked. They're hardly ever in anyone's like filter list. So let's go. Let's just try this first. So we save that. Go back to our website. We'll browse for the file. We'll go to hacking, HTTP, and then machines, notebook, and the psycho.php. So we'll save that, and we get this file over here. Once we view it, sure enough, it did echo hack the box. So I wonder if there's something else we can do with that. Well, there sure is. So we go back over here, and I'm not sure if you knew, but Kelly has some web shell in it. So we can just copy the PHP reverse shell to Psycho2 here, and we'll just say that Psycho2 file. There's a little bit of garbage at the beginning. We'll just remove that. We don't really need all those comments. And the IP address that we have is 10.10.14.5. Um, for port, let's 2345. And let's save that. Now we'll need a listener. So let's listen to 2345 and let's view that page. Let's view that PHP page. Yeah, no. I need to upload that Psycho2 PHP first. Yeah, that would help. So upload the Psycho2 PHP. We see it brings up the new PHP file. We view it. It hangs, and that's because we got a shell. Ta-da! So now, because I will check this. So basically, there's the Noah user seems to be the only one. So I like to know who I'm facing with, and if we do an LSL on the Noah home folder, there's the user flag, but we can't get to it. All right, guys. Well, we're back. Let's try to see and let's try to complete this box, shall we? Perfect. So we're over here. We got shell access, but no user. It's just basically shell. Um, the thing that's interesting with this one is that we it did talk about a backup earlier. So the first thing I'm going right after is like I'm going after a backup. I mean, I'm looking everywhere. Like, is there anything in OPT? I'll take a look at everything in cron. Um, see if we see anything that's backup related. We don't seem, sorry, we don't seem to get anything that looks backup related. So let's go to var, and then in here we'll go to the spooler and cron. Let's see if we have access to that. Normally we don't, but I mean, we don't. But I did see something getting there. Backups. Well, isn't that exactly what we're looking for? And sure enough, there they are. So let's create ourselves. I like to create myself a directory under temp, a hidden directory called under dot cycle. We'll copy that tar gzip to temp. I can't type. Um, and then we'll cd over there. eventually. Perfect. Now let's. I keep forgetting we don't have shell access yet, and sure enough, looks like we hit the jackpot. This right here, IDRSA, that's an SSH key. Let's see if it's still valid. So cat ohm, and Noah seems to be the user we're going after, so um, that's good. ID underscore RSA, and we got the private key over here. That's why I said you don't need to know a whole lot about keys, but you sure need to know what they are. All right, so we're just going to exit out of here. We'll create the noah.key. We'll paste this in here. Exit, save that. And also, we need to change mod 600. 600 is basically, um, oh, it would help if I put in the flag. It's basically read and write for the user only, so group and others don't have access. If you don't chmod 600 to your key file, SSH will not use it. It will more than likely prompt you for a password. So if we do that, we can see it drops us right into Noah's folder. And we can grab our user file from there, user flag. Now, the first thing I like to do, I mean, usually I like to do most of the heavy lifting myself, so I don't like to, how can I put it? I don't like to run linps or like any Linux discovery right off the bat. I like to do stuff by myself. I kind of develop my own methodology like that way. So I recommend you do the same, but I mean, it's not, it's, you obviously don't need to do exactly like I do. You can do whatever, whatever fits your needs, right? So if first thing I usually do is sudo -l. Most of the times it prompts me for the password to be able to do that. This time it doesn't, and it seems like we're able to run without any password some Docker. Um, so let's sudo into this over here, and we'll run bash. Okay, so that's kind of weird. We see the web application we were getting earlier, um, and so that's a whole lot of nothing basically. But we get the private key. We could have been getting it that we could have that we needed earlier, but we really didn't really needed it because we just provided our own. So, well, okay, can't really do any much. So let's get out of that container. Let's look what version of Docker we're looking. We're looking Docker 18.6. So perhaps, so let's go in Firefox. Now I'll just turn off burp because I don't really need to be attacking Google. We'll go to Google and we want to search for Docker. Um, what's the version again? So I can't type and I have amnesia. That's not good. .0 community edition, and we want the vulnerability. I mean, most of hacking is doing just this here, doing Google searches. So if you don't get used to it, get your Google fools up to skill, up to par, um, you might be missing out on some of the cool stuff. So again, most of what it is just looking at these vulnerabilities. Perhaps we can find something, but right off the bat, I know that the issue with this it's CVE 2019 7057.